Hello and good evening. Welcome to Camnet TV Main News. To present, my name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Top stories in the news tonight. ACC arrests former press aide AMOS CHANDA as he denies being corrupt. Former LUSAKA Province Minister BOWMAN LUSAMBO faces the law after failing to pay rent. DP leader KALABA demands $20 million from his subordinates for defamation of character. In international news, Ethiopia's Prime Minister calls on citizens to join fight against Tigrayan rebels. In sports news, PHIRI prepares to get back in the ring with a word to the young boxers.
Africa is rising to a new dawn of integrity and accountability. Are you tired of being swindled or buying fake or illegal properties? Would you like to sell or buy genuine property? Would you like to list your property on both local and international market? Don't waste your time. Call the professionals, the SGK Properties on +260 762 166 018. SGK Properties. Your business assurance is our priority.
Hello once again, another news in detail. The Anti-Corruption Commission, SEC, Tuesday arrested former Special Assistant to the President for Press and Public Relations, AMOS CHANDA, for obstruction and using insulting language towards anti-corruption officers contrary to the laws of Zambia. CHANDA, 49, of Woodlands, has been arrested together with his wife, Mebo Nakaundi CHANDA, 48, and his sister-in-law, Ruth Nakaundi, 37. This was after Mr. CHANDA was summoned for interrogation and has been charged with one count of using insulting language, among other charges. More in this report.
Former press aide to former President Edgar Lungu, AMOS CHANDA, appeared before the Anti-Corruption Commission, SEC. He arrived around 08:30 hours, and it was a long day for journalists who had to brave the afternoon heat with some ice-cold drinks, and not even the rains could compel the Fourth Estate to leave the premises. But it was Mr. CHANDA who appeared soaked with sadness after 7 hours of interrogation as he faced the cameras with limited words. He only said he was not corrupt, and only the SEC could state why he was summoned.
Are you being gagged? Are you being gagged?
Those who called me, I will tell you.
But are you being gagged? Can you tell us how it was? Do you feel harassed? Are you being gagged?
You know who I am and what I do. I am not corrupt.
It is now 6 times.
It was a long walk to his vehicle. Wow, the question of "Are you being gagged?" could not attract any positive response, much to the surprise of spectators.
Are you being gagged? Are you being gagged?
Meanwhile, the Anti-Corruption Commission has arrested Mr. CHANDA for obstruction and using insulting language contrary to the laws of Zambia. Mr. CHANDA, 49, has been arrested together with his wife, Mebo Nakaundi CHANDA, 48, and his sister-in-law, Ruth Nakaundi, 37. This was in connection with the recent search conducted by the SEC at his house. Anti-Corruption Commission spokesperson, Queen Chiwe, spoke to journalists.
I wish to confirm that the Anti-Corruption Commission has arrested former Assistant to the President for Press and Public Relations, Mr. AMOS CHANDA, for first of all, one count of using insulting language and also another count for obstruction. He has also the wife, Mebo CHANDA, and the sister-in-law, Ruth Nakaundi, have also been jointly charged for using insulting language on law enforcement officers. This was during a search that was conducted at their premises in Woodlands on 27th October 2021, where they held insults on law enforcement officers, an action which would have provoked the officers and made them to breach the peace and also to probably commit another crime. Mr. CHANDA further, with the other two, have also been charged with obstruction of law enforcement officers when they actually gave false information that the keys to the bedrooms that they were supposed to search were actually with another person that had gone out, when in actual fact those keys were there. And so that is what I can confirm on the arrest of the trio. So they've been released on bond, and actually they will appear in court soon.
Under the new Dawn government, the fight against corruption has been renewed. Those who served under the PF administration are major victims in the anti-graft crusade. Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
Community schools in Zambia have continued lagging behind in their quest to offer quality education as they are faced with various challenges such as lack of classroom furniture, textbooks and teachers. This is the case of New Life Community School in Lusaka's Lilanda compound, which only has 4 classrooms housing pupils from all grades at primary level. In an interview, school head teacher Gordon Muchemwa says for the past 2 years, the school has not received any grant from government through the Ministry of Education, despite being registered as a community school. More in this report.
While the demand for education in Zambia is high, previous administrations have not been able to meet the education needs of the country, which has led to the creation of community schools in cases where some communities are located too far away from government schools, or in the situation that some parents are too poor to meet the basic requirements of government schools, such as the buying of a school uniform. These schools are, however, required by law to be registered and aligned to the Ministry of Education to ensure that they are constantly monitored and assisted with government grants to help in the running of the schools. The story on the ground, however, has been different, as most community schools operate in dilapidated classrooms and face limitations with infrastructure such as desks and stationery such as textbooks. This is the case of New Life Community School in Lusaka's Lilanda compound, with pupils from preschool up to grade 7, which only has 4 classrooms for all the grades.
We haven't received anything from the Ministry of Education. So these are some of the challenges. Now when you look at the infrastructure, the classrooms used to be painted, the floors have holes which need to be mended, and then there's the issue of payment of teachers' allowances. The last time we received desks from the government, about 5 years ago, we were given some desks, and by now most of them are worn out and damaged. And then coming to the issue of textbooks, we just improvise from whatever we receive, contribution from parents. We manage to buy a few textbooks. And normally a teacher should have a teacher's guide, and learners should have learners' books. So instead of having learners' books maybe at a ratio of 1 to 3, we have only 1 learner's book per subject, where now the teacher has to write everything on the board, while learners copy from the board instead of using the learners' books.
School head teacher Mr. Gordon Muchemwa says the school is also lacking teachers, as most teachers are volunteers who have not received any formal training.
Through the parents of the learners, we have agreed that they pay a certain contribution, but it's not enough. That contribution, of course, it helps to pay teachers' allowances, and teachers get about 600 kwacha every month as an allowance.
Pupils at the school have also highlighted the challenges they face.
The challenges that we face here, we don't have enough desks. If you are late, you sit on chairs. So I would like the government to sponsor us with desks.
The challenges I have here, I don't have textbooks for writing. I want government to provide for me.
Sustainable Development Goal number 4, to which Zambia subscribes, stipulates that pupils should attend quality education by 2030. If to be attained, the plight of community schools such as this one need to be taken into consideration to ensure that inequalities in education delivered across the country are bridged. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Some Lusaka entrepreneurs, one dealing with charcoal and the other in welding, have expressed ignorance over the new Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprises. In an interview with Camnet TV, the entrepreneurs say they have challenges in accessing finances to grow their businesses, expressing hope that the new ministry will help them with knowledge and skills to grow. The ministry was in the 2022 national budget allocated about 350 million kwacha, a figure that has also raised concern from other sections of society, adding that the allocation is not enough looking at the ministries being new. Minister responsible for SMEs, Elias Mobanga, says the allocation is enough owing to the fact that some beneficiaries will fall under the Constituency Development Fund, which has been raised from 1.6 million kwacha to 25.7 million kwacha annually. More in this report.
Small and medium enterprises play a key role in boosting growth and job creation. It is on this basis that His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zambia, established a dedicated Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprise Development. The ministry is responsible for the policy as well as the development, mentorship, and incubation of SMEs. However, most SMEs have little knowledge about the ministry. Camnet TV caught up with some entrepreneurs, one who is a charcoal trader and the other a welder, who gave out their views on the new ministry.
We are not aware na ministry here because yes, tinga mvera at ministry lipo, but vamene tinga chite kuti tipange ma cooperatives na vamene ma cooperative tinga chite na business yame tinga chite ma cooperatives yonse information yotilipe. That's why monga kuma compounds tingafunikire kwambiri ngati bangatume vantu vamene bangapunzise vantu according to their groups, because vantu bali ma groups yosiyana kulingana na maganizo yao.
Pasimusarura sina tikoro koini mwantini madani inali kutipita chipaka apo tinakusirira chikuri wakusogoro nzombera chatuka chanuko palibe utazorembesa mazina daily pakangana kuli kansera so chitizwa manje mweyiyambira kuti muzatichitabwani.
Meanwhile, the Ministry of Small Medium Enterprise Development Minister, Elias Mubanga, says the move by government to take CDF closer to the people through constituencies will see young people and women get empowered.
My ministry is all over the country. The CDF, that is part of my ministry support. We are supporting our youths through the CDF fund in the constituencies. We've taken the money to our people in the constituencies, and youths, women will be supported from there.
The new Dawn administration will provide support to SMEs and cooperatives ranging from infrastructure development as well as access to markets and credit. Blessings Chakwila, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Meanwhile, the increment in the Constituency Development Fund, CDF, from 1.6 million to 25.7 million kwacha has elated residents of Mtendere compound in Munali constituency, who say the increment will help in the delivery of development at the grassroots level. In an interview, the residents state that they would like to see the CDF going towards fixing problems in the constituency, such as water reticulation systems, poor roads, and the lack of street lighting, which has caused an increase in the number of criminal activities in the area. They have also called for depoliticization of ward development committees, stating that they need people without political affiliation who will help them in driving the agenda of development in their communities. We have more in this report.
While Zambia aspires to become a prosperous middle-income country by the end of the decade, most communities in the country are far from developed as they face various problems associated with third world countries, from water reticulation challenges to security concerns. These communities also house many youths who are in search of employment opportunities. Minister of Finance and National Planning Dr. Stumbeko Musokotwani, during the budget presentation on Friday, announced an increment in the Constituency Development Fund CDF from 1.6 million kwacha to 25.7 million kwacha to help communities attain some level of development. Residents of Mutendere compound in Munali constituency have called for active engagement of beneficiaries to ensure that their needs are addressed. They say they have not felt the impact of CDF in their communities during previous regimes and have highlighted the change they would like to see. The residents have also called for depoliticization of ward development committees.
Infrastructure is there in Mtendere Ward. I can give an example for the council training center there, but the problem is that that place is not well funded. They do not have the utensils, they do not have the equipment in order to do what? To help the people who are supposed to be trained there. Moreover, this place is not doing anything in as far as marketing is concerned.
My street lights at least to for security reasons, and then if it's possible, they can even put security cameras for us so that they'll be monitoring the criminality activities that can happen at night, whereby the police they are not available. Yeah, that's what I can say. Yeah.
If you monga kuno kaya kumtendele watu kuno, tifuna je kuno kuntu kulinganisha na kachawama maizi waka. Nakaona kachawama onekalili pa tumarodi tulipali ponse tumapeva, then ise kuno kupezeka tukangena karodi kaku kliniki akamonga siku kliniki. Tumarodi sturi munja so ese mkatukonza kwaje tumarodi nsimbi tagwesa maningi za mamoto tagweje mulama za inspection ya moto kave na nchita tipisha kai.
Kumaproti marodi seribu no mvula ibwira manja. Marodi yaonongeka. Mamotoka tivutika kuti tipite bwino bwino. Afrika tiyangane at least government one zachitapo bwanji pandama zinachita release kuti mtendere east kumaproti kwatu tivutika kuenda na mamotoka.
Meanwhile, Minister of Finance and National Planning Dr. Stumbeko Musokotwani, during a symposium on Monday, took time to shed more light on what CDF will achieve.
So what we agreed is that for the time being, everyone will get a caution. It's up to them to decide what are the pressing issues that they face. The rural areas I know very clearly. It's about schools, desks, clinics. If that is not a priority on level, maybe it's the issue of employment, or youth empowerment. So in that case, then, a bigger part of the CDF will go to youth empowerment and jobs.
The increment is aimed at helping Zambia achieve a significant level of development by 2030 and improve the overall welfare of citizens. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Government has relocated over 50 families affected by floods in the 2021 rainy season from the makeshift Nambala Hills camp to Makebo Ward under Chief Mumba. Speaking when he handed over construction materials to the affected families, Central Province Minister Credo Nanjua says government has, through the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit DMMU, managed to secure more than 400,000 kwacha, which has been used to procure the construction materials. The minister says government has been spending huge sums of money in maintaining the families, but that the donation of the construction materials will enable families have shelter and begin to live on their own. We have more in the following report.
Hundreds of families in Mumba district of Central Province had in December of 2020 been displaced following the bursting of the dam in the area due to heavy rains. The heavy rains left a trail of destruction, which prompted the government to relocate the affected families to makeshift Nambala Hill camp, where government has been taking care of the families. However, this has been a huge cost on government, who has since bought land for the affected families in Makebo Ward, where they have been relocated. The government, through DMMU, has since managed to secure over 400,000 kwacha, which has been used to procure constructing materials, among them cement and roofing sheets, which government has donated to over 50 affected families. And speaking when he handed over the materials, Central Province Minister Credo Nanjua says it has been a lot for government to maintain the families, but that the affected families will now have shelter to look after themselves.
Finally, 2-3 weeks ago, the government, through the DMMU, we were able to secure an amount of 400,000 kwacha, which was released. Now it's out of this money, where we have drilled 2 boreholes. We have relocated them here. We have drilled 2 boreholes, as you have seen, and also we have bought these materials because we are made to understand that what is difficult for them is actually the issue of cement and the iron sheets.
The minister has since urged the affected families not to sell the materials they have received, but ensure that they are put to good use.
My initiative are very fast. Mutunka huira ano, tubone malato simenti, hata lika kunjira limu mujimunzi. Joyo jintu tatuzanda, kututawia na wau ya simenti, kula wanga. Kambo malingeso. Simenti, umalata, musebe hega botu, chitwa mpera wambati muzage manda.
And the representative who spoke on behalf of other affected families has thanked government for the support rendered, but has called on the government to consider providing the families with fertilizer so they can engage in agriculture activities for a start.
Lomba kuliba ushesu bachishi. Kwamba pe ankani ya bulimi batulanganyeko bami besu abali awa tulalombako tumbuto utufetraiza kuti tulime kwamba aswe mwaka ohiza tukabeko kabo tumaumi abo koyambo bwa kubere kuchindi cha kunshi.
The families will now not have to worry about the rain season as materials for the construction of decent houses has been provided. Prudence Chota reporting for Camnet TV News.
Over 5.4 million kwacha has been paid out to beneficiaries of the Social Cash Transfer Scheme in Petauke District of Eastern Province. Social Welfare Officer Moffat PHIRI says the total amount paid to beneficiaries was 5,448,990 kwacha for the month of September and October 2021. The money has benefited 17,015 people in Petauke District. He explained that since the inception of the Social Cash Transfer Scheme in the area, some beneficiaries have saved some of the cash and have invested in seed and small animals, thereby reducing vulnerability in their families. And one of the beneficiaries, Frida Wale from Kaliza village, says she has managed to buy 2 goats, which have since multiplied to 7 using social cash transfer. She adds that the funds have also assisted her in building a 2-roomed iron sheet roofed house and conduct a small business of selling groceries. Ms. Wale thanked government for assisting her with the social cash transfer funds, saying that she is also able to buy school requirements for her grandchildren using the same funds.
So we are delighted as a department to indeed confirm that government has released funding for the period September-October 2021. These funds that have been released are being paid to a total of 17,015 households that are currently benefiting on the program in Petauke District. So we wish also to further express our gratitude that these monies that are being released, they are really impacting positively in the lives of most of our beneficiaries.
Pandalama izinagulako mbuzi ziwiri, mbuzi zinabalana zilipo 7. Mpozi yake zina mamimba zikalibu bara ya zina mimba. Zina wana skulu nizo sauka tandizo kutuwana tuwa skulu koma nutandizika nikalandira ndatugulirako mabuku, mapenso.
Lomba muzakala nazo ndalama za kuti zochepekera tabe zamene zimativuta tithandizike mwa musanga. Sono chifukwa cha ichi ine monga oyimirira boma acting district commissioner wa Petauke nimpempani kuti drama please tikasensa bwino tikasensa kuyanganira mabanja watu
The Zambia Women Development Association ZAWEDA has embarked on a change project for ending child marriages and teen pregnancies in Petauke District of Eastern Province. ZAWEDA Chief Executive Officer Grace PHIRI explained that the project is aimed at promoting the full participation of traditional leadership, parents and school authorities and children in ending teen pregnancies and child marriages. Ms. PHIRI further said the main objective of the project is to promote discussions on issues pertaining to teen pregnancies, early marriages and other tendencies that may hinder young people, especially girls, from realizing their potential. She was speaking in Petauke when she engaged young people from Mundake and Kalindawalo chiefdoms to sensitize them on how they should gain increased control over life choices, including timing and circumstances of early marriages and teen pregnancies. And acting Petauke District Commissioner William Tembo says marrying off children at an early age is not only a violation of the rights of children involved, but also a disturbance to productivity and economic development.
The issue why we are holding this is to prevent the school children from falling pregnant, dropping out from school. And to do this, we thought the best is to start sensitizing in schools at the ages where they are vulnerable. Because if we delay, that's where we find a lot of dropouts, a lot of pregnancies, and a lot of abortions. And the Eastern Province, Petauke included, is known to have a high number of school children falling out with pregnancies.
The government is committed to encountering and removing all challenges that make most of the girl children to fall out of school before they reach grade 12. And like we have heard, the districts where we are in, Petauke in particular, before coming to Nimba. Petauke is the second of the district in the province in terms of early pregnancies and the rate at which girl children drop out of school.
I would like to urge parents that have the knowledge of their children are getting in relationship with the other child, so that they should stop to avoid the law visiting them. Because the only thing that should happen is that now the law should start visiting these parents that are agreeing in marrying off the young children.
Zaboma na zaweda potilimbikisa kuti noti tilekeshe maskulu noti titole mavumo kuti tilekeshe maskulu panjira koma maskulu yasi tipitilije mpose tikapeze life ya bwino kusogolo kapena kulivoti chita hivi tileke.
Chief Government Spokesperson Chushi Kasanda has urged members of the general public to read and understand the 2022 national budget so as to offer reasonable criticism. Speaking at a media briefing in Lusaka Tuesday, the minister says the national budget has embarked on lowering the fiscal deficit, restoring market confidence, bringing stability to the economy, enabling a speedy recovery in economic growth and ensuring debt management and sustainability. The minister says the budget is an inclusive one which incorporates the youth, men, women and the children who could not afford to go to school. She has since called on the Ministry of Information to publicize the national budget in different local languages to allow all Zambians get involved.
I wish to encourage you, ladies and gentlemen, to follow the debates in the National Assembly to know more about the 2022 national budget, which comes in force on the 1st of January 2022. I am also instructing my ministry through ZANIS to publicize the contents of the 2022 national budget widely. I further urge all media houses to equally give prominence to the publicity of the 2022 national budget, the people's budget. And as you are aware, I'm also instructing my ministry to publicize the contents of the 2022 national budget on the local languages aired on ZNBC. As government, we urge all our well-meaning Zambians to take keen interest to read and understand the budget in its totality. I further wish to urge all Zambians to monitor the implementation of this budget and offer checks and balances.
Minister of Agriculture Ruben PHIRI says government has suspended supplementary packs containing soybeans, groundnuts and sorghum for the 2021-2022 farming season for farmers on the Farmer Input Support Program FISP in order to create equality for farmers on this program. Speaking when making a ministerial statement Tuesday, Mr. PHIRI has also clarified on government's decision of not engaging local transporters to deliver the inputs, stating that government currently owes local contractors and would not like to accumulate more debt arrears. The Minister of Agriculture has also called on farmers who have not yet been paid by the Food Reserve Agency, FRA, to exercise patience, stating that the agency is desperately trying to source funds to ensure that they are paid.
Madam Speaker, as government, we have made the decision to suspend the issuance of supplementary packs due to the following reasons. 1. Since we have equalized input distribution in all districts of the country and all farmers are now to receive an equal quantity of inputs, the available seed for groundnuts, sorghum and soybeans is not sufficient to cater for the beneficiaries on the program. And it never did anyway, Madam Speaker. And 2, we have received numerous reports of malpractices and wastage in the distribution of seeds under the supplementary pack. Madam Speaker, in addition to the suspension of supplementary packs, allow me to clarify on the non-engagement of transporters in the 2021-2022 agriculture season. As you may be aware, government will not engage local transporters in the districts. This measure has been taken to ensure equity across all aspects of the program and to rationalize expenditure under FISP. The government owes transporters huge arrears, and therefore our immediate focus is to dismantle the debt before accumulating more arrears.
You're watching Camnet TV and not just another channel. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more news after the break.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
This is the Rusitu Irrigation Project. It's a government project funded by the World Bank through IDSP.
The project involved laying over 18 kilometers worth of interlinked water pipes that will supply water to the 280 hectares land for small-scale and commercial farmers in Lusitu of Chirundu district. We worked on 35 kilometers of the road network and also constructed 159 concrete water hydrants of different sizes in all 3 tiers. The state-of-the-art water pumping station at the banks of the Zambezi is fitted with 9 water pumps, a dedicated concrete reservoir, a 500 kV automated standby generator, a fully automated pump switching system that is interlinked with a second reservoir of 27,000 cubic liters capacity, which is fitted with 7 water pumps, a standby generator and floater tanks for that extra water pressure on the irrigation lines. Savenda Construction is grateful to the Zambian government and the World Bank for giving us the opportunity to be part of the history of Lusitu, as the project will benefit over 282 households once completed and is just one of the many that Savenda Construction has embarked on, owing to its track record and capacity to deliver as per requirement. Savenda, save nations, develop Africa.
Africa is rising to a new dawn of integrity and accountability. Are you tired of being swindled or buying fake or illegal properties? Would you like to sell or buy genuine property? Would you like to list your property on both local and international market? Don't waste your time. Call the professionals, the SGK Properties on +260 762 166 018. SGK Properties. Your business assurance is our priority.
Welcome back. We'll continue with the news. Senior Patriotic Front member Chongo Bwalia believes the former ruling party will rise above its leadership wrangles and emerge stronger to form government in 2026. Mr. Bwalia tells Camnet News that in as much as there could be many people eyeing the party presidency, the seemingly fighting for party presidency and other leadership positions are not signs of disunity in the party. He says it is normal to have factions when there is a vacancy at the top leadership level of a political party that loses power.
All this put together, the Zambian people are aware that the Patriotic Front has got every right. Patriotic Front can be able to rise up and bounce back in 2026. And therefore, it is very true that the Patriotic Front really practices what we call intra-party democracy. And we are got very rich in terms of democracy where we should be able to tap into. And that is why most political parties are copying from a Patriotic Front. So all this that is happening, is normal. You know, where there is a loss, where there is a loss, there is bound to be quite a lot of confusion. And it's normal for people to do that. Just like where there is death, you find that people, including the chiefdom, where the chief is no longer there, the family tree will still looking at, start pulling each other to say, me wants to be this, me want to be this. That's very normal. There are bound to be some of those confusions and even skirmishes. If there is confusion in our colleagues who won because they never expected to win, and they are trying to find their feet What more those of us who lost? Because we also never expected to lose. So for me, what is happening is very normal for people to fight for whatever positions they want. And this is exactly what the Patriotic Front stands for, is democracy.
An arresting officer from the Drug Enforcement Commission, DEC, in the alleged drug case involving opposition self-proclaimed Patriotic Front National Commander Innocent Kalimanshi has told Lusaka Magistrate Sanford Ngobola that he found 2.0 grams of cannabis in Kalimanshi's Nissan Fair Lady vehicle during a search he conducted. Francis PHIRI was testifying in a case where Kalimanshi has been jointly charged with 27 others with the offense of trafficking in psychotropic substances and being in possession of offensive weapons contrary to the law. Mr. PHIRI testified that he arrested all the 28 accused persons after receiving a complaint from some concerned resident in Chawama compound that a group called Ama Americans were terrorizing residents and abusing drugs. The state witness further testified that Kalimanshi was violent towards officers when he was told that they wanted to search his vehicle because they suspected that he had cannabis. More in the following report.
The state has closed its case in a matter in which self-proclaimed Patriotic Front National Commander Innocent Kalimanshi with 27 others are accused of trafficking drugs and being in possession of offensive weapons. When the matter came up for commencement of trial Tuesday morning, the state called 3 witnesses, all officers from the Drug Enforcement Commission, who testified that Kalimanshi was among the 28 suspects that they arrested in July this year during an operation they conducted in Chawama compound. Francis PHIRI, an arresting officer from the Drug Enforcement Commission, testified that on the 22nd of July 2021, DEC received a complaint from some concerned resident in Chawama compound that a group called Ama Americans were terrorizing residents and abusing drugs. Mr. PHIRI, who is an investigation officer, testified that after receiving the complaint, a joint team of DEC, Zambia Police, and paramilitary officers from Lilai proceeded to Chawama compound, where an arrest was made on the accused persons. The witness further testified that Kalimanshi was apprehended at a named lodge in Lilai after they found 2.0 grams of cannabis in his Nissan Fair Lady vehicle. Kalimanshi is said to have trafficked 2.0 grams of cannabis and also used the motor vehicle to commit an offense under the Narcotic Drugs Act, while among other accused, 5 are said to have trafficked 95.3 grams of cannabis, and among the 5, 1 is further accused of trafficking 36.0 grams of the said drugs. And the rest are said to have been in possession of the said offensive weapons, among those pick handles and machetes. Meanwhile, during cross-examination, Mr. PHIRI informed the court that during their search, they did not find any offensive weapon on Kalimanshi, but the said offensive weapons were found at his premise in Chawama compound, where they had arrested his co-accused. But during oral submission, lawyer representing the 28 accused submitted that the court should acquit all the accused persons because all the witnesses brought by the state have failed to identify them, apart from Kalimanshi during their testimony, as being persons they apprehended on the night of 22nd July 2021. The matter comes up on the 16th of November 2021 for ruling on case or no case to answer. Miriam Kemba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Kabushi Constituency Area Member of Parliament BOWMAN LUSAMBO has been dragged to the Lusaka High Court by Zamtel for being a problematic tenant by failing to pay rentals for a house in Ndola. Zamtel, through its Human Resource Operations Manager Henry Lungu, states that Mr. Lusambo is owing the company 590,000 kwacha rentals outstanding exclusive of withholding tax. In an affidavit in support of originating notice of motion filed before court, the plaintiff submits that on the 1st of December 2016, it leased agreement with Mr. Lusambo that he will be paying monthly rentals in the sum of 10,000 kwacha exclusive of withholding tax. In the affidavit, Mr. Lusambo said he used 2,050,327 kwacha 18 to renovate the said house, which should have been credited to his rental account. Zamtel submitted to Mr. Lusambo on the 29th of January 2018, requesting that the house should be sold to him as he had invested personal money in rehabilitating the property and the family had become emotionally attached to it. Zamtel has further submitted that from the time Mr. Lusambo occupied the house, he has never paid any rent despite all efforts by the applicant to collect rentals from him. Embattled Democratic Party leader PHIRI KALABA is claiming 20 million United States dollars from his subordinate Judith Kabemba and Justin Nkonge for defamation of character. Mr. KALABA wants the Lusaka High Court to grant him an order of interim injunction restraining Kabemba and Nkonge on their agents from defaming or publishing defamatory words against him. This is in a matter where Kabemba, in her capacity as party vice president, and Nkonge as treasurer, have sued Mr. KALABA for masquerading as DP president. Mr. KALABA is seeking general damages for defamation, mental stress, and inconvenience. He submits that it was extremely hurtful for the plaintiffs to damage his reputation as he had done nothing deserving of the sustained campaign of calumny that they had orchestrated against him. The Zambia Development Agency, ZDA, in Chipata District, Eastern Province, has urged the business enterprises in the province to access the services being offered by the agency. Chipata District ZDA Enterprise Development Regional Officer Christopher Mvula says the mandate of the agency is to promote and foster economic growth in the country, hence the need to work with business houses in the province. Mr. Mvula explains that the agency has many departments such as investment, which empowers the agency to look at what it can offer to them as a backward and forward linkages and give financial support to small micro enterprises. Mr. Mvula was speaking to the media Tuesday at a workshop meant to share services that the agency offers to entrepreneurs. Meanwhile, some Chipata District entrepreneurs have thanked the agency for organizing the work to offer such information to them and have called on the agency to take the information in other districts of the province.
We cannot just promote investment if we have not gone out or we have not informed the business houses or businesses in Eastern Province. So we had to engage the Eastern Chamber of Commerce to provide a platform for us so that we can talk to the businesses. So we want just to them to know what ZDA does. So we're looking at investment promotion, we're also looking at also export development, and also looking at the development, the facilitating the development and the growth of the micro, small, media enterprises. So the whole instance or the whole object of this meeting here at the chambers is to inform the businesses, the enterprises who are based in Eastern Province to look at or to access the available services that ZDA offers.
It will really help us because also other components, they are trying also to do incubation of business and look into development of products so that the product that you produce is developed up to an export standard.
This is Camnet TV Main News. We'll take a break. We'll be back with international and sports news.
Team, the trajectory of the business looks very positive, and it looks like we'll be able to launch the ministry.
There's so much data.
Mom.
Yes, baby.
It says here, global warming and climate change is caused by the pollution from careless activities of human beings.
Wow!
Son, do you know I can turn my phone into a TV remote?
How's that possible?
It's so easy. Check this out.
Be smart, be fast with mega data from Zamtel. Get your 15 GB mobile data for only 100 kwacha, 30 GB mobile data for only 200 kwacha, and your 70 GB LTE data bundle with free Netflix, YouTube, Facebook, and WhatsApp. Visit our Facebook page, website, or service centers countrywide for more information. Zamtel, your digital lifestyle partner.
This is the Rusitu irrigation project. It's a government project funded by the World Bank through IDSP.
The project involved laying over 18 kilometers worth of interlinked water pipes that will supply water to the 280 hectares land for small-scale and commercial farmers in Lusitu of Chirundu district. We worked on 35 kilometers of the road network and also constructed 159 concrete water hydrants of different sizes in all 3 tiers. The state-of-the-art water pumping station at the banks of the Zambezi is fitted with 9 water pumps, a dedicated concrete reservoir, a 500 kV automated standby generator, a fully automated pump switching system that is interlinked with a second reservoir of 27,000 cubic liters capacity, which is fitted with 7 water pumps, a standby generator and floater tanks for that extra water pressure on the irrigation lines. Savenda Construction is grateful to the Zambian government and the World Bank for giving us the opportunity to be part of the history of Lusitu, as the project will benefit over 282 households once completed and is just one of the many that Savenda Construction has embarked on, owing to its track record and capacity to deliver as per requirement. Savenda, save nations, develop Africa.
Africa is rising to a new dawn of integrity and accountability. Are you tired of being swindled or buying fake or illegal properties? Would you like to sell or buy genuine property? Would you like to list your property on both local and international market? Don't waste your time. Call the professionals, the SGK Properties, on +260 762 166 018. SGK Properties. Your business assurance is our priority.
Welcome back, and in international news, in Ethiopia, 2 rebel groups have joined forces. Fighters from the Tigray People's Liberation Front say they have linked up with rebels from the most populous region, Oromia. This comes as the TPLF has launched a new offensive. They have seized the town on an important highway connecting the capital, Addis Ababa. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has urged all Ethiopians to mobilize in the fight against Tigrayan rebels. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken tweeted saying the United States is alarmed over the TPLF's takeover of the towns of Dessie and Kombolcha and has urged both sides to stop fighting. In other news, as the COP26 talks enter their 2nd day, climate change continues to bring devastation to communities all over the world. People living around Lake Chad are facing their worst environmental and humanitarian crisis in generations. Here's a roundup of international news.
There's a new frontier in Ethiopia's war. Rebels in Tigray say they're advancing further south, inching closer to the capital Addis Ababa. In just a few days, the rebels from the northern Tigray state say they have seized the towns of Dessie and Kombolcha, which are in the neighboring Amhara state. The two are on a major highway leading to the capital Addis Ababa. The federal government has disputed those claims.
We have to make sure this siege on Tigray is broken. We have to make sure that our children are not dying from hunger and starvation. We have to make sure that there is access to medicine, access to food by our people. So we'll do what it takes to make sure that the siege is broken. If going to Addis, marching to Addis is what it takes to break the siege, we will.
Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has asked all Ethiopians to organize and fight back.
There are many challenges, but I can tell you with certainty, without a doubt, we will score a comprehensive victory. In the last 15 days, when TPLF was crying about being attacked, I was overwhelmed with pressure from the world, with phone calls. Now that they are advancing, it is seen as normal, and no one is calling.
The U.S. has been calling for a ceasefire. Secretary of State Antony Blinken tweeted saying the U.S. is alarmed over the TPLF's takeover of the towns of Dessie and Kombolcha and has urged both sides to stop fighting. But there are concerns that violence could escalate, with Tigrayan rebels joining forces with the Oromo Liberation Army, an armed group in the region surrounding the capital Addis.
There is a new marriage of convenience alliance between at least a faction of the Oromo Liberation Front and the TPLF, because Abiy has managed to alienate the Oromo, including some Amharas. So he is really increasingly isolated, and the TPLF is trying to take advantage of that situation, as well as OLA.
And it's families like these who are paying the highest price for the shifting battle lines of Ethiopia's war that's dragged on for nearly a year. More than 2.5 million people have been forced to leave their homes, and around 400,000 are on the brink of famine.
Once a busy navigation channel for light fishing vessels, this portion of the Lake Chad is now a crossing point for cattle. Decades of poor water usage, silts, droughts, and the impact of climate change continue to alter the face of the lake, and with it the lives of millions who depend on it. This family is forced to migrate because of drought. Not far from here, we met a fisherman pulling in his catch of the day. He says it's the most he got in a week. A few mackerels, not enough to feed his family.
We used to catch a lot of fish in past years with little effort, but it's so much more difficult now. I'm lucky to have even caught this much.
He says fishermen like him must learn other skills to survive the hard times. The Lake Chad is shared by Cameroon, Chad, Niger and Nigeria, countries dealing with a 12-year-old Boko Haram insurgency that has killed thousands and displaced millions. Experts say the conflict is fueled in part by the effects of climate change.
Lake Chad is one of the world's biggest lakes, but over 50 years it's changed dramatically. What was once a 25,000-kilometer body of water is now estimated at scattered islands like this and pools just containing 1,000 square kilometers. And that has left 25 million people short of food and jobs and exposed to conflicts.
30 kilometers away from what is now the new shores of the lake, Aziz Hassan harvests sorghum after 5 months of labor and a $4,000 investment.
Different quality, it's not good quality now.
The quality, it's not good quality. About 40 hectares, that's the only thing we got this year. For 40 hectares, not enough, because we've got problems with the rain.
He says he will be lucky to get 4 bags this year, which amounts to a $3,800 loss on his investment. A few decades ago, what he now calls a farm was deep inside the Lake Chad. For generations, this Sahelian oasis has supported millions of families, livestock and profitable trade among nations. Governments in the region are struggling to address the fears and concerns of millions who now watch helplessly as their means of livelihoods dry up.
Just as industrialized countries agreed to support developing countries, Chad, through its public treasury, will also fund projects to mitigate the impact of climate change on its people.
Little comfort to those who lost so much. Back at Aziz Hassan's farm, his workers continue to process this year's harvest. But at the back of their minds, they are conscious of the reality that they, like millions in the region, may not get to keep their jobs next year. Ahmed Idris, Al Jazeera, on the shores of the Lake Chad.
It's now time for sports news. And in sports news, former World Boxing Council WBC Gold Bantamweight champion PHIRI has implored the young aspiring boxers to combine boxing or any other sport with education. In an interview with Camnet Sports, PHIRI says young people will be able to contribute to the many developmental matters that affect the nation once educated through the various diversification activities they will be undertaking. PHIRI has appealed to the youth interested in joining any sports discipline to remain focused and determined even as they seek to develop in sports. More in the following report.
Catherine PHIRI, born on the 1st of January 1987, is a Zambian professional boxer who held the World Boxing Council Female Bantamweight title from 2016 to 2017 and challenged twice for the WBC Female Super Bantamweight title in 2017 and March 2019. PHIRI has since called on the young, aspiring boxers to combine boxing or any other sports with education. In an interview with Camnet Sports, PHIRI says young people will be able to contribute to the many developmental matters that affect the nation once educated through the numerous diversification of sports activities they have interest in.
In general, the youth, we should take sports seriously, and for you to be a good sportswoman or man, you have to also combine with school. You don't have to say no because I'm a boxer. School has got no use in my life. School is very important as well. You know, boxing is sports. It's a short lifespan thing. So when you've got a paper, then you are good to go. You can do anything after sports. Sometimes it's not necessary that you retire. You retire when you say, oh, I'm going to retire in 2040. You find that you develop an injury. But when you're educated, you can find another job.
PHIRI adds, success comes with a lot of discipline.
Well, what I would love to see in a young girl who want to be a boxer like me is just determination, focus. You know, there are a lot of good boxers out there, but the disadvantage we have is that on the process, you find that a good boxer is coming up, especially a girl, on the way that boxer would disappear. So I think we need to do more. We need to do more on this, especially on the young girls.
Blessings Chakwila, Camnet Sports, Lusaka.
To end Camnet TV main news, we take a look at stories making headlines once again. The SEC arrests former press aide AMOS CHANDA as he denies being corrupt. Former LUSAKA Province Minister BOWMAN LUSAMBO faces the law after failing to pay rent. DP leader KALABA demands $20 million from his subordinates for defamation of character. In international news, Ethiopia's Prime Minister calls on citizens to join fight against Tigrayan rebels. And in sports news, PHIRI prepares to get back in the ring with a word to the young boxers. We now look at the Camnet verse for the day, which is coming from 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 15 to 16. And it reads, "For it is God's will that by doing good you should silence the ignorant talk of foolish people. Live as free people, but do not use your freedom as a cover-up for evil. Live as God's slaves." Thank you for watching Camnet TV News. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Bye-bye.